Comics are the ultimate personal perspective. It's not even a picture of the world, it's an image of the world filtered through an artist's eye and hand. Jaime speaks to so many different kinds of experience. He's such a great natural artist. Like, you can look at any one of his pages or panels and just stare at the beauty of it.
I got to know LA through the Hernandez brothers comics before I moved to LA, and so it has a special place in my heart.
It's also organic the way I work, you know. I just put down what interested me. I would take someone's haircut and just go from there. You know, some of them were just made up as they were being written. You know, like some characters I didn't know what they were going to be like till like they would make a decision to go this way instead of this way. And I go, oh, so that's what this person's like. You know, it was kind of like I was discovering it too. The culture stuff came in our comics when we realized, hey, all my characters are white, you know, and I'm not, you know, and thought, hey, wouldn't that be cool if we just made them Mexican or whatever, you know, and you know, and we found out that all we had to do was just change their last name, and it seemed so different. You know, people saw it totally different. You know, that tells you how people look at different cultures, you know. All this talk about alternative comics are doing something different and stuff like that. Sometimes I wonder how far even the alternative comics want to go with this stuff. Yeah, there were a couple of times where Gilbert and I said, like, hey, why don't we put lesbians in there? People hate that. Oh, that's great, you know, things like that, you know, or just things that we knew that weren't cool in society were the things to pursue, you know. When we decided to do comics about our culture, I thought after that everybody was going to do that, you know, and sadly, not that many people followed. You know, and so sometimes I think we're still the only Mexican comic out there.
Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez have both been, you know, decades ahead of the curve for decades. Occasionally you'll get people who think of comics as just, you know, a story that has, you know, some drawings of it attached to it or pictures attached to it. And so much of comics is about drawing and style and the way that things are drawn, the way that things are presented. And the more that you look at it and think about that, the more fun it is, the more pleasure you can get out of it.
Comics were always there. It was just something to do because my brothers did it, you know, and so I thought whatever my brothers did, that was cool. So I just followed along. Everybody in my family drew, you know, but it was Gilbert and I who stuck with it. When we started Love and Rockets, Gilbert and I were also in a band, you know, in a garage band, and it was like all our friends were in bands. We had our own little punk scene, you know, in our small town, and all the other bands started to record, actually, and we were like, hey, we should get on it, you know, but we had this comic to do, so we had to decide, well, what are we going to put our strengths in? Well, obviously we were better cartoonists than we were musicians, so, you know, we thought, well, the comic is there for us, and we've been doing this our whole lives. Let's dive in.
Their stuff's very cinematic. They're just masters. I mean, of pacing and figure. And I love how they depict women. Their characters feel very real. They feel very authentic. So they definitely come from a place that's very personal.
As a female comics fan, you get left out a lot of the time. It's like, not only is this guy writing about people like I went to high school with, but the girls are like really strong and like, wow, I can be like that. Wow. He does very believable, relatable, like likable but strong women characters. You really have a feel for the feminine. So thank you very much for doing your work.
Thank you. I like your outfit.
Oh, thank you.
This is your regular clothes, right?
I would never be dressed like this if I hadn't been reading Love and Rockets in the 80s. Believe me.
It's great that a lot of my readers like embrace my characters like they're their friends. It's kind of like making it theirs. You know, that's okay. That's cool. You know, I can't think of a better compliment.
Comics are rad. It's very tribal. I mean, we're all here, like, fans come together